Hi, this is Stephen Hale, and this is my YouTube video on my survey and the data collection on this. So let's get to it. I asked 10 questions, 9 were kind of demographic questions, and 1 was a Likert scale question with several questions inside the Likert scale. First question I asked was, are you a veteran of the United States military? I got 23 veterans to take this survey and 14 regular civilians. Of those veterans, 21 of them are currently employed and 2 are not currently employed. 13 of the civilians were employed and 1 was unemployed. I asked about degrees. I had 12 veterans who had a degree and 11 who did not have a degree. I asked how long did it take our veterans to find a job after leaving the military. 9 veterans took less than 3 months. 5 took between 3 and 6 months. 6 took between 6 months and 12 months, and then 3 veterans, it took more than 1 year to find employment. I also asked if they were employed in the same career field as their job in the military. Only 8 veterans were employed in the same career field, and 16 veterans were employed but in a different career field. As a veteran, have you ever received unemployment benefits? 15 of the veterans who took this survey had received unemployment benefits and 8 had not. And then I asked how many were hiring managers in the civilian workforce. Only 3 respondents who took the survey were hiring managers, and the remaining 34 were not. I asked about business owners, if you owned a business. 5 business owners took the survey and 32 non-business owners took the survey. And then I wanted to know where people lived, where they resided, and kind of the geographical location. I had 8 people from the East Coast take this survey, 18 from the West Coast, 3 from the Midwest, and 8 from the South. I then got into a Likert scale. That's kind of my big question here. So I made a statement, and then I had people say that they either strongly agreed with that statement or disagreed with that statement. So what I'll give you is the highest answer. That was the most common answer. So military veterans are a valued part of the United States civilian workforce. 19 of the respondents said they strongly agreed with that statement. Military veterans are an asset to an organization as employees. 27 respondents strongly agreed with that statement. All military veterans have some form of PTSD. The number 1 answer for that was disagree, and there were 12 respondents who disagreed and 10 remained neutral. Society has a distorted view of military veterans. The number 1 answer was strongly agree. That was 15, and again, 10 people remained neutral. Military veterans look for too many handouts. The number 1 answer for that was disagree. The second answer, the number 1 answer had 18 people disagree, and then the number 2 answer was strongly disagree with 11, so overwhelming majority. Military veterans should receive unemployment benefits for at least a year. 14 people strongly agreed with that statement. That was the number 1 answer, with agree as the number 2 answer, and I had 10 people say that. Military veterans believe they are more skilled and qualified than they really are. 13 people disagreed. That was the number 1 answer. And 12 people remain neutral. So we're getting a lot of neutrals here. In general, employers want to hire military veterans. The number 1 answer was 20. 20 people remain neutral on that answer. Military veterans are fairly paid. The number 1 answer again was neutral. Number 14, maybe they didn't know, maybe they don't know the answer, but the number 2 answer on that was military veterans are fairly paid, agree. That was 10 respondents. Gaining experience in the military in a specific career field is equivalent to experience gained in the civilian workforce. The number 1 answer was strongly agree on that. Moving on, military veterans can have a positive impact on the culture of an organization. Overwhelming, it was 23 respondents said they strongly agree. Military veterans are war junkies. That was overwhelming disagree with 16 respondents, and 13 people said they strongly disagree with that statement. Military veterans have issues with drugs, sex, and alcohol. The number 1 response was neutral. 18 people said neutral to that. Companies who hire military veterans should receive tax breaks and other benefits. The number 1 answer was agree with 12 people, and then 11 people remained neutral. That was number 2. Upon separation from service, military veterans are prepared for the civilian workforce. I had 12 people remain neutral. That was the number 1 answer. Military veterans receive far too many benefits. I had 16 people say they disagree and 15 people say they strongly disagree. Military veterans struggle to find their place in society upon separation. That was number one answer was agree, and number two answer was strongly agree. So that was with 15 and 12. So most military veterans struggle to find their place in society. Most military jobs do not transition to the civilian workforce. 16 people disagreed with that statement. That was the number one answer. Military veteran employment services are easily accessible to military veterans. The number one answer was neutral. Most people did not know. The number two answer was disagree with 12. The neutral answer was 13 for that. Military veterans are taken care of and do not need employment as much as others. The number one answer for this was strongly disagree with 16 respondents and disagree with 13 respondents. Military veterans are best employed in public safety like police and fire. Number one answer was again neutral, number 14, or had 14 respondents, and then disagree, which was 10, and then strongly disagree was 7. So most people either didn't know or disagreed with that statement. Just a couple more here. Military veteran underemployment is a serious issue. The number one answer was strongly agree with 14. Military veteran underemployment is a serious, is the government's responsibility. The number one answer for that was agree, which was number 14, and 10, which remained neutral. Military veteran employment is society's responsibility. The number one answer for that was either they were neutral or they disagreed, or they're neutral or they agreed with that. Both answers had 10. Military veteran underemployment is the responsibility of the individual veteran. 20 people said that they agreed with that statement. That was the number one answer. There's a difference between unemployment and underemployment. That was a agree statement, was the number one answer with 16, and strongly agree at number 14. In general, the United States has done a sufficient job in employing veterans. That remained neutral. That was the number one answer with 16 respondents. Most veterans are underpaid, undervalued, and underappreciated. The number one answer was agree with 13 respondents. And then I gave two quick scenarios to close it out. A veteran of 10 plus years in the military should be a candidate for mid to upper management in the civilian workforce. 16 respondents said they agreed. That was the number one answer. 7 remained neutral. And then the last question was a retired veteran of 20 or more years should be a candidate for upper or executive management in the civilian workforce. 17 respondents said they strongly agreed. 11 said that they agreed, and 6 remained neutral. So the initial gist of what I got is that a lot of people are neutral because they're not informed, they don't know the answer, or perhaps maybe they didn't want to hurt my feelings as I asked them to take the survey. But it seems like it's slanted, this particular Likert scale of questions, it was slanted in favor of we need to do more for military underemployment. It is an issue, and if it's not an issue, at least people don't know about it, they're not informed, and they need to have more information. So it was a useful project. I'm excited to hear some of your comments, and happy to share the results specifically if anybody'd like to see them. Thanks for watching. Sorry it took a little bit longer. All right, bye-bye.